Hey guys!
Hey,
That's not how the show starts.
you miss a week and you're just off to the moon.
Hey everybody!
Hi guys, well from snowy Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast,
I'm Frank Feldman.
and I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up today, we're going to be talking about a situation that happened with the LDS Church.
Yeah.
And a woman who had her temple recommend, if you know what that is, you'll understand how important this is. Her temple recommend revoked because she was a little too chatty. She wouldn't shut up.
She wouldn't, you know what? When a man tells a woman to shut up, damn it, lady.
Shut up.
Just shut your face hole.
You're now apostatizing.
So we'll
By
get to that.
Talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a mess.
None of our listeners will be surprised by that story.
No, probably not.
But we'll have some fun talking
but it's
about
still horrifying.
Yeah, it's not good.
And what's great about it, though, is how substantiated it is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's true.
This is anyhow.
We'll get to it.
But before we do, Dan,
Yeah.
your cheeks look nice and freshly shaved.
What about my neck? Also,
Glabrous.
I look sexy. I look dead
Is it
sexy.
glabrous or glabrous?
Glabrous? What is that?
Hairless,
Oh.
isn't it? I don't know.
Is that a word? That's
I
great.
just made it up.
Congratulations on that. Harrys.com
Yeah.
provides razors for men.
Yes.
Shaving implements
Who need to remove facial hair.
for the fellas. You know y'all do it.
You have
We do it. Everybody does it.
Yeah.
Whether you take it all the way off your face or like Frank and I leave some.
But you have to hit some spots still.
You got to stay trim, fellas.
Yeah.
None of this neckbeard stuff. Nobody likes it. Nobody wants
Don't be a neckbeard.
it. So the way to do it is to go to harrys.com/TGIA.
Yeah.
Which is easy enough.
Yeah.
You tell them, you sign up, you get a free packet from them. Just because you know us, just because we're your hookup.
Indeed.
You tell them, hey, Frank and Dan sent me. And then you get the razor, you get the you get the cartridge. It's a 5-blade cartridge.
Which is unbelievable. It's so comfy.
Talk about a smooth
Is
shave.
it comfy? Is that the right word?
It's
You barely notice.
it just glides along.
Yeah, I know.
You get the great shave gel that we like so much. I'm a big fan of the shave
my
gel.
God, yeah. That stuff smells good.
It's a good smell. It's and just a really nice works into a nice lather.
It's highly
Thick
effective.
foam.
Yeah.
It's very good. And then and there you go. You've got
You got clean
you got a
cheeks.
travel thing that comes along with it. You got a good handle. The handle's nice and sturdy and ergonomic and stuff. And then you take care of yourself. It's cheaper than your grocery store blades. It comes to you. So you sign up once. You let them know how often you're going to need it. It just comes to you. Mm-hmm. But try it for free. You lose nothing in this. You just pay shipping.
Yeah.
And
it's a $13 value, Dan.
yeah, that we're hooking you up with
free.
for free. If you go to harrys.com/TGIA. That's it. That's all you got to do.
Boom. Done. All right. I just did, anyway. All right, I got a story, Dan.
Okay, what do you got?
Not too far up the pike
Okay.
to Idaho. Boise, in fact. About six hours from here.
Boise.
Bois.
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 This is not how you pronounce it. Boise, Idaho. It's a city.
It's the capital.
Indeed.
Yeah. It's a nice town.
Yeah, I've had fun there.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Well, they are Idaho is one of the states that has a medical care exemption for faith reasons.
Oh, we did talk about this a little bit ago,
Yeah.
like last year or something.
Oh.
They just passed that law not too long ago.
I didn't realize it was so recent.
Ladies and gentlemen, we don't listen to our own podcast, so we don't always know what we've talked about and what we haven't.
Well, nonetheless, this has actually been going on for quite a while in Idaho. They didn't really need the law,
Right.
because there has been this group called the Followers of Christ, which is one of these splinter groups that believes in faith healings and God's will be done.
Right.
They don't use contraception of any kind. You have as many kids as you can.
God
and
wants you to.
And you let as many of them die as God wants dead.
Right. Because you don't take them to the hospital for eminently treatable problems.
Yeah, exactly. So they estimate
God loves a good neglectful parent.
child advocates, right? Estimate that 183 Idaho children have died because of withheld medical treatment
Jesus Christ.
since the 1970s.
That's
And
that's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, like 2 is too many,
yeah,
but 200? Come on.
yeah, I know.
That's ridiculous.
And these
And criminal.
it's
Should be criminal.
This is neglect. This is child neglect.
It is manslaughter.
Yeah, it is. And it should be treated as such.
Yeah.
Well, there's a movement in Idaho to change this law.
Oh, good.
People are protesting their recent, just this past week, I think it was, a man had crafted 183 small coffins that they dropped off on the steps of the state capitol. And people want to see this changed. A number of states have recently changed these laws. I don't remember off the top of my head. I remember some of them. I don't remember all of them, but like Hawaii, Oregon, Tennessee, which kind of surprised me, and a handful of others have all revoked these laws. And I've realized that the care of the child is what's important, and that this was really not thought through back in the 70s because this is when there was like a movement in this country.
Right.
And all but like a handful of states passed laws allowing medical exemptions for faith reasons.
Well,
and
and
it's horrifying.
It's one of those things where there is a slippery slope problem with this, because what they want, it starts with like, I want a medical exemption because we don't, my faith doesn't believe in immunization, or
Right.
my faith doesn't believe in blood transfusion, which
Right.
is the Jehovah's Witnesses, and
Right.
my faith doesn't believe in blah, blah, blah. And now that we have science,
Yeah.
and we can say, no, your child will die if you don't do X, and your child will likely has a 90% chance of living if we do X. Well, then if you don't do X, you're killing your child.
Yeah.
You're making a choice to kill your child. So that's what we call not acceptable
Right.
in the world.
In a modern society.
Yeah. So, I'm going to transition from this. I'm going to segue, actually, because my first story is along similar or interesting lines. Did you have more that you needed to do?
No.
Okay.
I feel satisfied.
Let's continue talking about this subject, because the rights. I'm going to read a quote. This is from a lawmaker in Iceland, whose name I am not even going to attempt. We'll just
Fair enough, Dan.
We'll just call her
Those people have crazy names.
a lawmaker from a center-right party in Iceland.
They have a center right?
They seem to. It's what they call center-right. But
Probably what we call
I got news for you. Their center-right party
extreme liberal
is
in
called
this country.
the Progressive Party.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh, there you go.
take that for what it's worth. Her quote is, "We are talking about children's rights, not about freedom of belief. Everyone has the right to believe in what they want, but the rights of children come above the right to believe." So that's an interesting quote because it pertains perfectly to your story.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
This is a story about a new bill that's being put before the Icelandic parliament, that could impose a 6-year jail term on anyone who, quote, removes part or all of a child's sexual organs for non-medical reasons.
Oh,
They already have a law for female genital mutilation.
okay.
This is for circumcision.
Oh, wow.
It hasn't passed yet, but it seems to be have a lot of support in the country. Now, this is
Are there many Jews in Iceland?
no, but there's actually, so it's a country that only has about 336,000 people total
it's
in the
tiny.
country. Only 250 Jews total, but 1,500 Muslims.
Oh.
And Muslims are actually the largest circumcising group in the world.
Yeah, they would be. Yeah.
A lot of people don't think of that because for whatever reason we just associate it with Judaism. But Muslims do it pretty much universally, and there's a lot of them. I don't know if you know that.
Right.
In this world, an estimated 30% of all males globally are circumcised, and about 2/3 of those are Muslim. So yes, they are up in arms. The religious folk,
Yeah.
because
they're being attacked.
they're under attack. Their religious freedoms are under attack. Well, guess what? If you want to cut off parts of your own genitals when you're an adult and have, and have the autonomy to make that decision, I guess knock yourself out. But
Right.
the point here and the point and the correct thing that Iceland is looking at is when a baby, when we're talking about a baby, when we're talking about a child, they don't have autonomy and they can't consent
Right.
to this mutilation. Right. And that's all it is. Like, make no mistake, circumcision, it was done to me, it was done to you. Mm-hmm. It's a mutilation. Mm-hmm. They're mutilating a baby. Mm-hmm. And that's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thing to do.
Right.
So there you go. Iceland may be the first country to ban it.
Well, good for them.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
They can have.
But it is tricky. It's a tricky thing to do to tell these groups that have literally millennia old traditions.
Yeah.
No, you can't do that. That's a tricky one.
It's.
I support it.
Yeah, it's tricky.
But I understand the position of somebody who's like, I participate in this tradition that goes back thousands of years that my people have been doing this whole time that we believe is holy and sacred, even though it's horrific and awful. So how can you tell me that I can't do that? It's an attack on me. I get it.
Right.
It would feel like an attack.
Yeah.
It's just protecting children. That's all this is. Anyway.
Well, all right, Dan.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
It's really a thing.
I would like to, let's see, protecting children. I'm going to go with this story then.
Okay.
There is a story that was, I guess the media, the right-wing media,
The media.
got all up in arms over.
Okay.
They turned it into something that it's not.
Oh, rude.
The story of a woman who had her child baptized and then is thrown in jail.
Oh.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
What's happening?
Child she didn't have custody of, nor the right to make religious decisions for.
Oh.
The father had specifically been given the right to make the decisions about religion.
Okay.
Very clearly
By a
the
court.
judge.
Okay.
Right. In the very, very nasty custody hearings that these two are going through.
As they so often are.
Kendra Stocks is the mom.
Uh-huh.
Paul Schaff is the dad.
Okay.
And they had a 6-month relationship that produced a child.
Indeed, that'll happen.
Both Roman Catholic.
Wait,
Both-
they're both Catholic?
Both in support of having the child baptized.
Fucking idiots. Okay. Keep going.
However,
Oh, God.
there's just been nothing but turmoil between these two.
Right.
Including the fact that the father has been very upset about some naming things. He wanted his last name included in the child's name.
Oh.
The mother refused.
Oh, so she
and went about just having the child only have her last name.
Oh, on the legal documents or
Legal
in the,
documents.
or in the baptism?
Legal documents we're
weird.
talking about.
Oh my God.
Anywho.
So she has a history of just doing things without checking in with anybody
doing things just willy-nilly.
Right.
Behind his back. And so they were actually in court the day before the child was baptized.
Okay.
Right. Now,
And
she had visitation. She had like some sort of like she could have the child like for the weekend, I suppose, right? Type deal. But he's the custodian.
Right.
Right. He has full custody.
Sure.
Right. Well, while she had the kid, and she had this plan for months, mind you.
Yeah.
She had the child baptized in secret, had her sister listed as the godmother, and Shaft's brother as the godfather. But court records show that the brother did not attend because nobody told him the ceremony was taking place.
The godfather was not
listed,
informed.
But he was not informed. Neither was the father.
How is the priest okay with this?
I haven't figured out.
She had a sneaky priest.
I think she just lied to the priest.
Oh, maybe.
She set the whole thing up. I mean, clearly, she lists the guy's brother as the godfather.
Right.
Right.
Which is weird.
Which is totally fucking weird. She sits in court claiming that she didn't understand everything, and the judge is like, I sat there and went like point by point with you.
Right.
And said, do you understand? And you kept saying yes.
Right.
So at this point, I don't care if you didn't understand.
You said you did.
You said you did.
Right.
What, and so
I'm still blown away that they're both Catholic.
I know. This is crazy.
Like when you talked about this, when you set it up, I was certain that it was going to be like an atheist versus, or even like one Baptist, one Mormon, or one whatever.
No. Both very much practicing. They both wanted a baptism. They both want the child raised Catholic and going through all.
So
the Catholic
she just
stuff.
had to have it be her baptism.
It was her baptism. But Shaft's attorney. Pointed. This was in court. He pointed out that the couple had spent the day before the ceremony in courtroom discussing all of these the spiritual decisions relating to the child. Right, these things were being discussed. She had this thing planned, and she's sitting there just lying. Right, and but the attorney says one would think that you would have the sense to say, "Oh, by the way, I've scheduled a secret baptism and it's tomorrow, and you might want to know about it."
Right.
Like, just absolutely outlandish. Anyway, if you see this story circulating around or anybody online being pissed off or outraged about this mom having her child baptized.
Well, I think I did see this, and the headline was something like "Woman goes to jail for baptizing her child."
Right.
It's not because she was baptizing the child.
She's being basically held in contempt of court.
Right. She didn't have any right to do it.
Yeah. So
she's still going to get baptized.
She denied or she disobeyed a court order, essentially. And the judge's his attitude is, you cannot, in our system, disobey the court and not expect some kind of consequence.
Yeah. Totally.
You cannot.
No.
So you are going to jail for a week, so you have some time to think about this, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that you excluded the Catholic father who wanted to be involved in this baptism.
He would have probably, well, I don't know if he would have invited her to the thing.
No, who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? She sounds unhinged.
Yeah, she's crazy.
And we have nothing to base a personality on for him.
No. But at least, but she needs to go to jail because she did something unconscionable.
But she's a lunatic.
She's a crazed person.
Look at this picture of her.
Ooh.
That's a crazy woman. That's a crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, she's kind of got the dead eyes, although it is a mugshot probably, so,
I don't care.
Anyway, I'm going to take us to New Mexico.
Oh. Not old Mexico.
Right, correct. Specifically, we're going to Bloomfield, New Mexico. where a lawsuit was settled a bit ago. This was one of these, they decided they absolutely had to have a Ten Commandments monument on their public grounds somewhere.
It's important, Dan, to really make sure everybody in your community understands
that
you're a bunch of religious, assholes.
And that they don't covet. Stop wanting things, you dicks. It was really important. Anyway, the ACLU got involved. There was a lawsuit. The city of Bloomfield lost this lawsuit. Now, here's the thing. Here's what happened. Hammett Mehta pointed this out on his blog. What happens is these Christian groups lull the city or the whoever, mayor or the city council or whoever's doing it into a sense of false security. What they say is, if you do this and you're willing to fight the good fight, we'll make sure that you have free legal defense.
Oh, interesting.
We'll make sure that there are all these Christian groups that will provide a free legal defense for it. Here's the trick: they're gonna lose.
Right.
And even if you have free legal defense, when you lose that case, you've got to pay for the other guy's legal team.
Oh, my God.
Because the ACLU warned them multiple times, look, don't fight this. You'll be on the hook for our legal defense, for our legal expenses.
Right.
In this case, to the tune of $700,000.
Oh, my God.
Which a small town doesn't have.
They have to issue a bond
to throw around.
They can have a little town bond issue on their next ballot.
Well,
will you give us over the next 20 years?
We'll borrow money.
Will you pay for this bond?
Yeah,
so we can just piss your money away.
Right. So they got themselves into this hot water. City manager Eric Strahl has come up with a different possible solution.
Oh, no.
He's thinking he's going to try and GoFundMe the thing. He's hoping that Christians around the country will pony up for this small town's $700,000.
They really ought to. They really should.
I feel bad for anybody who I think the city should be suing the fucking politicians to get them on the hook for this thing, because they're the ones that dragged them into this.
Oh, make your elected officials financially liable for the bad decisions they make?
Yeah.
Well, that's a thing.
Wouldn't that be great?
That's a thought.
Wouldn't that be a thing? Because they had no business fighting this fight. They were warned. They were told. They were shown precedent that this was not going to go well.
It was going to go different this time. This was going to go all the way to the Supreme Court, and you're going to get to keep your 10 Commandments. Is that what they told him?
They did try to take it to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said no. No.
We're not going to hear that. All right. Well, cool.
So there you go.
Dan, I just want to tell you, we got segues galore.
Oh,
really?
Really? It's like we planned it.
I have another city council.
It's almost like we prepared the show. Which
that actually makes it sound like we did. We didn't.
We didn't.
Not at all. Except for our stories.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
We prepare. But we don't.
We don't.
They're tell each other about the thing.
Fitting together so nicely. I have another story about a city council.
Oh, good,
Dan.
Great.
This time in Texas,
the land of Tejas.
Oh boy, this could go any direction, Dan.
Well, Texas usually. There's one or two. There's not a lot.
Plano, Texas.
Oh God. Okay.
Right.
That's part of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it's a little bit to the east of it.
Just outside of it?
Maybe a little northeast.
Okay.
Maybe if memory serves.
Okay.
My Texas geography is not perfect.
And who the fuck cares? Go on.
But Plano, Texas, for Plano Americans. Let's see. So the city council, it's a heavily Republican town. No surprise there.
Right.
A city council member posted a anti-Islam meme.
Oh, God.
Onto his Facebook feed.
Sure.
It says, share if you think Trump should ban Islam in American schools. And it has a picture of a girl doing schoolwork with a hijab.
Does he mean like ban Islamic students?
No, just get Islam out of the American schools.
Meaning what exactly? They don't. It's not like they're teaching Islam in the schools.
But get that damned headscarf out of the schools,
and preferably the brown people too. If we can get rid of them, that would be.
Hey,
good.
you know what? If we get rid of the crosses that kids wear as well,
yeah,
why not?
Yeah, exactly.
But that's not what he's saying.
No,
he wants to pick on one group,
right?
And anywho.
I don't even think, if you asked him, I'll bet he wouldn't be able to tell you what he means by that.
He just liked the sentiment, the general sentiment.
It just sounded right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Islam in American schools, that's wrong.
Yeah.
Anywho, so this dude, 73 years old. So, that's really all who's on Facebook anymore is old folks.
That is not true. It's a thriving community of all ages.
Not young, but anyway, that's beside the point. So anyway, the mayor, who's the first black mayor
of Plano,
okay, he comes out. He's actually an immigrant from Haiti.
Oh,
so he didn't like what Donald Trump said a few weeks ago about
his
Haiti
shithole
being
country,
a shithole country, right? And so he's come out. And he's kind of making a little bit of a name for himself. But anyway, he says, my message to everyone within the Islamic community is, this is their home. They're welcome, just like everyone else is. And guess what? 6 of the 7 city council members agree with the mayor.
Oh,
and they have censured this asshole.
Oh, good.
And here's a lovely quote from a woman named Erica Johnson, who was outside protesting the dude. She was holding a sign that said "Baptists against bigots."
Oh,
apparently Plano was like totally against this guy. She says, "Look, if you want to be a racist old grandpa, you can be a racist old grandpa, but you cannot serve in public office. It's wrong. I mean, everyone has the right to free speech, but you don't have the freedom of the consequences of your free speech." Right?
There you go.
That's a Baptist.
I love it.
Against bigots.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and I always thought Baptists were for bigots.
Well, Baptists are traditionally are bigots. That's one of their things. But no, I think I think it's good. Like, what's happened is that this country has swung so far in one direction that the people who normally would just let things fly under their radar are having to go, oh fuck, you know what? This really has gone too far.
Yeah,
we've actually said it. They're actually saying it out loud. All these things.
The decent human beings who we know exist on both sides, of the political spectrum, right?
Who have been dormant,
quiet, are finally just because it's coming from their side. In this case, the Republicans. These folks are having to stand up and go,
yeah, that's not okay.
This isn't cool. This
can't.
is not how I want to live.
It's not America.
What is this?
I mean, the whole idea of America has always. I mean, theoretically, I was taught even from childhood that it was about pluralism and it was about everybody's welcome.
Right. We shit on the newbies who are here. That's what we do right now.
Sure.
Right now, it's people from south of the border. We shit on them, and then they'll work their kids will work their way into our system, and there will be a new group that we shit on. That's how America works.
And the Mexicans will join us in shitting on whoever it is.
They absolutely will. They will enjoy it, just like the Italians do now.
Oh my God. We're doing this badly. I think we're failing.
That is clearly not the message.
No.
The message is we need to get better at this, not regress.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, we need to embrace the pluralism.
Yes.
We need to shore up our system that is meant to be all about everybody. This is a place for everybody.
Absolutely.
That should be our national motto.
Urber. That's what the E in E pluribus unum stands
right.
for. Is
Urber. Urbuddy.
Urber.
Okay. Did you just have a stroke? Are you okay? Do you smell toast?
You started that, Dan.
I'm going to take us to Spain now, though, and then we can close this all out.
Okay. Love Spain.
In Spain, I do too.
Patatas bravas.
Who doesn't like a lovely
Nice Rioja.
a little bit of tapas? Absolutely.
Oh, yes, indeed.
In this case, a statue of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, which had been around for a long time. For a couple hundred years, this statue has been around. And it hasn't always been at the same church, but they were going to restore this statue. It needed some work, getting a little shabby.
Yeah.
And then the group that was doing the restoration, a Madrid-based group called Da Vinci Restauro, was doing. They took it down, and as they were sort of taking it down, they realized, hey, is that something in the butt?
Somebody put something in Jesus' butt?
There was a note. There was
a note.
2 pages, back and front, handwritten.
What?
From 1777.
Oh my! Was this like
stuffed in the butt of Jesus?
So was somebody in trouble?
The hollowed out butt. No,
this is like a bottle.
It was
note in a bottle.
It was an amazing
note in the bottom.
It was literally like a time capsule.
No way.
That had been written by one Joaquin Minguez, who was a chaplain at the Burgo de Osma Cathedral.
No way.
Who had just sort of written up what was happening in his time, like just given a recap, said who the statue was by. The statue is by this artist, and
was it
and then had just gone on to talk about, typhoid fever is really bad right now, but we like playing games. We played this ball game. We like cards. The Inquisition's still happening. Like, he just sort of touches on all of these cultural touchstones.
No way.
And then shoves it in his butt. That just goes right in Jesus's butt. He's like, King Carlos III is on the throne. The Spanish court is in Madrid right now. And this goes into the butt.
Well, I mean, seems like it was a safe place.
Yeah. Apparently worked.
Jesus' bum.
It's just, I think we need
our
to,
Lord and Savior's bum.
If you have an old Jesus somewhere in your community, check his butt. You never know. It's like on the cross, so you don't get.
Yeah.
Like if it's on a cross, you don't necessarily
see
look.
the bum, and you don't look up Jesus' bum.
No. They actually,
often,
I think they just removed like a piece, the carved cloth that was covering him, and then like, I don't know if there was like. It was in the butt crack itself, but like in his posterior.
Was there like a trap door?
Was this? Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
No.
There was a little something in this hollowed out statue of Jesus.
I wonder. Wow.
So when you get your hands on an old Jesus, check the butt. That's
some advice.
I think that's You might have a lovely little note from an old
monk or clergy or whoever he was. Well, that's lovely. Good. Well, what's really actually quite nifty is it sounds like they actually learned a lot about the community there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure there were other things that they had to like talk about life and
I mean, the person
300 years
this
ago.
guy could have written out I love Jesus like sort of whatever religious thing, but instead he very clearly intended it to just be like, here's
Time capsule.
Here's what's going on.
Right.
Enjoy, whoever finds this.
I wonder how he got my mind started like, how did he get the idea?
Yeah.
Had he discovered a note in Jesus's bum and wanted to pay it forward?
It's a chain letter. It's a Jesus butt chain letter. That's great. That was sent in to us by a listener, by the way.
Oh, fantastic.
So thanks for that.
Yeah.
If you'd like to send us a note about your statue's butt, please feel free to do it. You can write to us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yeah, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click that like button.
And while on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge or request to join. It is a closed group.
Yeah.
But we let you in if you know what it is.
Yeah. And then,
It was lovely.
participate.
Yeah. Hey, Dan.
Yes, sir.
Here's a voice that's been hitting the show far too often lately.
Oh,
Rick Joyner.
somebody has to step up when there's when Patty Boy hasn't been stepping up with his usual lunacy.
Yeah, I know, but there's something. Even though I hate the man, there's something strangely endearing.
He's like our racist grandpa.
Yeah,
or
there's
something.
something like as awful as he is,
Pat Robertson.
he doesn't. Yeah, he's just not the worst, right?
Okay, well,
Maybe he is.
Rick
the worst.
Joyner's not.
Rick
not
Joyner
great.
he's just so fucking annoying. That's my problem with him.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's got some theories about why the school shootings continue to happen, and so let's just listen to this imbecile.
Okay.
I want to go back to the beginning of this. You know, there's, I think, good spiritual evidence that the Columbine shooting in Colorado years ago opened a gate of hell into our country. Now, in scriptures, gates of hell are access points. They're doorways through which hell gains access to our lives, to our families, our churches, our communities. In this case, I think it has been the whole country and maybe many other countries, but a gate of hell was opened. Only the church, when there is a gate of hell, where there's been a breakthrough of hell into society, only the church has the spiritual authority to shut that gate of hell or to prevail against it. When prayer was removed from our schools, I believe that was the real beginning of the gate of hell, many gates of hell that are destroying our youth, our families, not just through shootings like this, but all through drugs and all kinds of other ways. That had provided a hedge of protection for our students. And as I've written, I started writing 30 years ago that prayer would be returned to schools. Schools would demand it. They would do it regardless of the Supreme Court, government, or anything else. They're going to realize we've got to have prayer in school. We are going to pray. You know, we're going to obey God rather than men in that kind of situation. And I think we're getting there pretty fast.
Oh boy.
Well,
That's what we need.
I mean, it's not like we can look. It's not like there are other countries in the world that we can look directly to provide us with evidence that prayers in schools don't prevent. It's the gate of hell. The problem is that we've opened
you're
the gate of hell.
falling into a very common fallacy, man.
which is
I'm sure countries like Japan and Sweden, right?
Right. There are plenty of countries that don't have prayer in schools.
Yeah.
That have much less gun violence. No.
Those countries are not America, Dan. America is special. America is a city on the hill.
Right. And there's been a gate of hell opened.
And we have a gate of hell. Do they have a gate of hell?
I mean, probably.
I mean, surely Japan. Those people are into so much shit.
There's
there
gotta
has to be a gate of hell.
There's got to be hell gates there. There's got to be, right? Scandinavia is just one big hell gate. Like,
no kidding.
Just comes out of the fjords and pours out over everything.
Oh my God. With their high standard of living and everything.
Happy populace and whatever. Sure.
Awesome. Yeah.
It's
sure. Yeah.
Clearly
there's
gates of
a
hell.
hell gate there.
Yeah. You know, the prayer in schools thing, he predicted it 30 years ago. It still hasn't happened yet, but he's ready for it.
Oh yeah.
It's going to happen.
It's gonna Yeah, no. Instead, the kids are pissed.
Here's
and the
what
kids
I
are going to march.
Here's what I want to know. You can't, like, your God is supposed to be everywhere, right? God is everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, like, somehow, and like, you can totally pray before your kid goes to school, pray after your kid comes home to school, pray while your kid's at school. Your kid can individually pray while they're in the school. Right. No one's saying they can't. No one's trying to stop them from doing that unless they're like doing it like at a moment where it would be disruptive for all of the class. But, you know, in your own time, like all of this prayer can happen.
Right.
And presumably has been happening.
Yeah.
Why is God still not able to stop the shootings then?
Because, Dan, there's a rock, paper, scissors of prayer, hellgates, and God.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so prayer beats hellgate. Hellgate beats God. God
beats prayer. God beats prayer.
Maybe that doesn't go all the way around.
I just feel like,
but clearly hellgate beats God. Right. Mm-hmm. God's not everywhere. God's not in that hellgate.
Right.
Right. You got to get prayer going so the hellgate goes away and so God can get back in.
And the prayer has to be led by the principal of the school because God rules are like vampire rules and you have to invite God into the school or he can't get in.
But boy, you don't want him to get in. That's the thing.
Once he's
once he's in,
what are you going to do? Like, yeah, then
you're at
his
mercy.
Yes, he'll protect you from the school shooters. Obviously, that's clear. Right. That much is clear.
He'll let whoever's in charge diddle all the kids.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
that's true.
So that's how God works.
Well, but the nice thing is that the other compelling evidence that he can, because he talked about spiritual evidence, about this hellgate. But one thing we know for sure is that God will at least protect people. There's no shootings in churches, so that's how we know for a fact that his logic is working. Oh my god! We didn't have a lot of people write into us, but we did have one email that I wanted to read out. This is from Jim.
Okay,
he's an Aussie, Australian Jim. He says. Hi, Dan and Frank. Recently here in Oz, one of your countrymen, meaning our countrymen, on national radio was discussing the reappearance of worldwide bunkers. Bunkers built / dug to protect citizens from plague, nuclear holocaust, etc. These appeared in great numbers of differing sizes during the Cold War, of course, but now are reappearing. The commentator said that the Mormon Church in Salt Lake City was encouraging its flock to dig bunkers. Lots. Do you guys know of this? If so, can you comment? Actually, I would imagine the good Lord would take care of these faithful, God-fearing folk in the event of a Holocaust. Well, that's where you're wrong.
Yeah.
The Lord helps those who help themselves, is what I've heard. And also, God's never saved anybody from anything.
No.
Unless... Except in that one story where that one guy, you know, he had his Bible in his pocket and the bullet was stopped by the Bible or whatever.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about this. Have you heard about this?
I have not. I will say this, though. Utah, there are a lot of preppers.
Prepping is huge.
And the church feeds into it a little bit with, like, talking about keeping, like a food storage.
Which in our day, growing up, it was like you want 72 hours of food. You need a 72-hour supply of food. And now it seems to be like you need 5 years of food. You need grains. You need buckets of grains.
No, it was a year. It was a year's supply is what my family always did, right? So we had buckets and buckets and buckets out in the garage. This was when I was a little kid.
Wow.
So, I mean, they've been preaching it for a long time. And I remember my parents... saying how it had been like a 3-year supply is what the church had recommended at one point, but because the people were unfaithful and didn't do what they were supposed to, they were just now pleading with everybody just to do a year, right? And I was just like, what the fuck?
Let me tell you something.
You can't use all this shit.
If you are in a buckets of food,
if
you're in a first world country. and something has gone so wrong that you need a year's supply of food, those buckets are not what's going to save you. If something has gone so horrifically awry, you're already dead. There's no way that in a country
Really?
as geographically huge as the United States of America,
The only thing that can save you is your willingness to consume other human beings.
right? That's that.
You have to go cannibal.
Let me tell you
to
something.
get through that.
My year's supply of food is Frank.
Well,
I'm sorry, guys.
well,
He will die.
I'm not that voluminous.
Well, you're not a year's supply. That's
I'm not
true.
a year's supply.
But
I
you're-
might be good for a few months.
You're my starter. You're my starter.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how much
I own more
how
guns
much
than
this
you.
would go.
You and I are both gun owners. Is that weird? That's pretty weird.
I have an antique.
Yeah. Well, mine are. Yeah, a couple of mine are. One of
my
mine.
theory could shoot, but I would never go out. And
Oh
shoot
no,
it.
you wouldn't shoot that thing.
No,
That's scary.
blow up in my face.
Yeah. Mine are all in working condition, but also old.
But I could take it to a gun expert, I'm sure, and he could tell me if and what I should put into it. I think it just is so massive. It would have to just blow my shoulder off.
It's not quite old enough to be a blunderbuss, but it's getting there.
But nonetheless, yeah, Dan.
There's a lot of prepping happening.
There's prepping. Yeah, let's just get back
and
to this.
if you
this
ask
email.
them what they're prepping for, it's coming.
Yeah.
You don't know about it, but it's coming.
Well, the
But they-
government's going to turn on the people, or the government's going to dissolve,
Right.
or something along those lines.
which is
There'll
why
be
they
chaos.
need. Which is why a family of 4 needs 16 guns and an entire garage full of unmilled wheat,
Yeah, I know.
which they have no idea how to eat.
Oh, we had a little hand crank grinder,
Yeah,
and
I doubt that they. I mean,
crazy town.
they're figuring they'll use their KitchenAid or whatever.
It was the worst bread ever. My mom would make homemade bread with that shit. She would grind the wheat
Yeah.
and then and it was just awful. It was gritty, just terrible flour, right? That she'd get out of that shit.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, so I think maybe that's what they might have been alluding to. It's just sort of this prepper mentality.
And it's so prevalent and it requires religion to get to this point. You have to believe that there is a biblical level apocalypse coming.
Were you in the car, Dan, when I remember driving, I think it was with you. We were heading north on I-15 and we stopped to go to the Costco in Centerville, wherever that one is, right?
Uh-huh.
And I don't remember what we were grabbing at Costco on our way north.
Sure.
But there was sort of in the same shopping area, there was one of those prepper stores. And there was there was one of these bunkers. Were you there?
I don't think I was there.
Oh, it was this giant tube, right?
Yeah.
And we were able to walk through it. We totally were like, what the fuck is that?
Oh my God.
We are going to go walk through it. And
Yeah.
it was it was one of these things of live underground for a year while the
Is there a way that we can
fallout.
convince all these people that it's happening and they need to go into their bunkers?
Well, Hawaii tried.
Can we? Yeah, exactly. Can we do that? Can we? Is there a way of talking directly to them?
Are there still people in Hawaii stuck in their bunkers?
There might be. Yeah, that's what we need to do. We need to get them all in for just for a year. We'll get you all, but we'll make it an election year because that'll be good.
Oh yeah,
And we'll get them all into
Don't
their
let the
bunkers,
preppers vote.
and then and then we'll fix some things while they're gone. Hopefully, some of our lawmakers are the preppers. We'll get them all into bunkers. Anyway, yeah. So, do we have any people to thank?
Oh, Dan, yes, indeed we do. We have some new patrons.
Hooray.
On Patreon. And we have, so there's Philida
Okay,
is a new faithful member.
lovely.
We have Bell as a venerable
Ooh,
listener now, and Andrew as a beatified listener.
well,
So
blessings
bless
on
of you.
all of you, ladies and gentlemen. These people have not only earned themselves eternal glory, but also get access to an ad-free version of our show
Absolutely.
and bonus content that only our patrons get to hear.
Yes, I believe that's starting at the venerable
Starting
level.
at the venerable level. So if you would wish to join the ranks of these good patrons, these blessed people, you can go to thankgodimatheist.com and click on the support tab and go to our patron page and help us. We're really close to hitting our 200 patron goal.
Yeah, we had that announced a little while ago. As at this moment, we are 7 patrons away. So if you've been thinking about it, help us hit our goal. It'd be lovely.
It would be great.
And,
And then you get all those perks.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and we need to thank our...
Oh, my God!
We almost didn't think... We need to thank our Lord and Savior,
Yeah.
our continuing top donor, Angela.
Angela!
May her glory shine
May she
down
bless all
on
of us.
all of us from above, and may she have notes in her butt for everyone.
That people may find
Later.
future generations.
Uh-huh.
And they'll learn of everything wonderful in Angela's life.
Indeed, in the name of the Father and the Son and the Mother and the Daughter and all the people and the aunts and the uncles. It's now it's like a 10-pointed
matrix.
star or cross. Amen.
Amen. Daniel,
Yes, sir.
the LDS Church,
The Mormons.
the Mormons, of which we were once members,
They're just over there.
they're not far away. On my way over, I drove right by the temple.
Right past the headquarters, the big HQ.
I hate driving by it.
I love it.
I don't.
I go there all the time.
I know, it's really odd to me. Oh my God. I've had a lot of resentment that's bubbled up recently about the LDS Church.
Well, because
I've had a couple breakthroughs.
they're
actually.
dicks.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
true. That much is absolutely undeniable.
And I won't get into them now. Maybe we can talk offline.
We'll get
Maybe
into
I'll share them someday.
Oh, sure.
But yeah.
Well, we'll get into one of our objections now.
Yeah, let's do it. So this is a story that Channel 2 here in Salt Lake broke.
Which is like, the local news channels
Or it's an exclusive of theirs.
have paid a lot of deference to
Yeah.
the church.
Yeah.
It's rare that they challenge the church on anything.
Yeah. Because technically, what happened was some audio recordings hit Mormon Leaks,
Yeah.
right? These were recordings made by one, I'm going to say Tiercy. Do you think that's how you say her name?
Yeah.
Tiercy Hadlick. She was at the time an active member of the LDS Church. And she, after having at least one terrible conversation with her ecclesiastical leaders, she decided that she was going to record them on her
Right.
phone. And so,
Now
which is legal in Utah, as long as one party knows.
For a second. It's legal for now.
For now, however, there is opposition to it, and they've actually dropped the bill.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There was a bill that was trying to make its way through the courts, and that had the support of the LDS Church, which in general means it automatically passes.
And you say support of. Basically, this was at the behest of.
Right. They wrote it.
Yeah, the LDS Church wanted, because of situations like this that get them bad press, they wanted to make it so that both parties, or all parties,
Had to agree.
to be recorded in any recording in the state of Utah.
Right.
Clearly, that's, if you're a whistleblower, that ain't good.
That sucks.
Right? So anyway, the recordings are not nice to listen to. The snippets that were in the story, though, on Channel 2,
that the TV played.
were pretty gross. So basically, what was going on is Hadlick was going through a divorce.
Yeah.
Her husband had emotionally cheated. Had an emotional affair.
Yeah, that's
With another
what she
woman.
claimed is
Right.
an emotional affair, which may or may not be a thing, but it was enough to hurt
to ruin their marriage,
damage their marriage to the point where
Right.
they no longer wanted to have it anymore.
He was just he wasn't really fucking her. He was just sort of
He was emotionally fucking her,
emotionally fucking her.
which, let me tell you something, a little less satisfying.
In one way,
That emotional fucking. I mean, have an emotional relationship, great.
Yeah.
Emotional fucking, though, nowhere near as good as just fucking.
nonetheless, it ruined their marriage.
Yes.
They were in the process of getting a divorce.
And she was upset.
And she was upset. So she was talking to her friends in the community. And in a lot of Mormon communities, that's it's going to be all you have access to. You don't know
the rest of the Mormons, all of the people in what is called your ward.
You are surrounded by Mormons.
Yeah.
Your and any non-Mormon neighbor you might have, you look down upon.
Well, and
they're not your friends.
And this is one of the right. And this is one of the tough parts about any divorce is that you have all of the same friends.
Right.
You and your partner of what at least 20 years.
Probably.
Yeah, it was at least 2 decades that these two were together.
Yeah.
Eventually, like when you need to go to your friend to talk about what's happening in your marriage, unfortunately, your partner also knows that person.
Right. So anywho,
it's just a trick.
She's out. She's trying to sort through her emotions. She's trying to work through everything. And she is told by her bishop and stake president. So basically your priest and
your bishop.
The
stake president is, in Catholic terms, that's the bishop.
Right.
And the priest is the guy that Mormons call the bishop.
Demanded that she stop talking about the divorce. When she didn't stop, they revoked her temple recommend.
Which is a big deal. Which, to a Mormon, that's as big a censure as you can get before you, before
disfellowshipped
right.
and then eventually excommunicated.
Right. It's basically saying you're being a bad little Mormon. No.
Well, and it's horrible. Like people really, they're sort of rank themselves within Mormonism based on whether you're a temple recommend holder,
right, or
not. You are a good Mormon if you have one.
Yeah.
You are a bad Mormon if you don't.
And if if you're caught doing bad things, if you beat your child or whatever, that's the first step. They'll take away your temple recommend.
Yeah,
and you'll have
oftentimes, even for something as minor as beating your child, they are not going to take away your temple recommend, Dan.
Well, and that's true because here's the thing. Her husband, who had this, quote, emotional affair, he had to talk to the same bishop.
Yeah.
The woman that he had this emotional affair with was in the ward, so she was probably brought in to talk to the bishop. Neither of them lost their temple recommend.
Exactly. Because they knew to shut up.
Apparently they were being discreet in the ward. Yeah, because you're the dickhole in this scenario. You're the one you're the bad guy. So yeah, nobody would. So of course you're not going to start spreading it around.
So here is a quote from her stake president. This is what he says to her.
So he's the big dog.
Yeah, she's having a very special meeting with her stake president.
Right, and this is from the recording.
Yeah, he says, "We took your temple recommend away because you emphatically said you would not stop talking about this with other people. That is the singular reason for which your temple recommend was taken away. Because when they told her to not talk about it,
right,
that she did not stop.
She was like, "No, I need to process this. I'm going to talk about my own divorce, my life, to my friends."
He continues, "Disagree with me all you want, but to not follow counsel direction from your priesthood leaders, there's a name for that. That's called apostasy."
Ding, 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 and we've hit it.
Yeah.
You didn't obey me.
Yeah.
Hello,
cult leader.
I'm in charge.
Yeah.
I'm the man who has the magic powers, and you didn't obey me.
And so I'm going to ding you in a way that hits you really hard in Mormonism.
Yeah.
Like for people not entrenched or not formally entrenched in Mormonism, like... You need to really understand this. This is humiliating.
Yeah.
It supposedly is disconnecting you from a closer sort of
Connection with
spiritual
God.
connection to God.
Right.
Like you go to the temple for like the most spiritual experiences that you're going to have as a Mormon.
Right. Now, it's not like there's a published list of those who do and those who don't have their temple
No.
recommends. But let me tell you something. Your niece gets married in the temple.
Yeah.
Suddenly the entire family knows who is and isn't in that room with them.
Exactly.
Because Andrea and I, when all of our, when all of her siblings got married,
Yep.
we're not in the room.
Yeah.
We have to sit out with their shithole kids,
Right.
babysitting 45 people because
In the waiting room.
because all of their parents have gone in. This is why don't want to go to the weddings anymore. It's just too much. There's all this screaming. I can't take it. Like, I'll take 2 kids. That's my max. Don't give me 11.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
It's not my job.
Hadlick says that she's that she made all this went down like last year, right? Like
Okay.
well over a year ago.
Yeah.
But she's speaking out because she feels like the Me Too movement has made her more emboldened
Yeah.
to bring up the issues
Tell her story.
of women being abused in these situations where men have all the power.
Well, and also she said that she saw this bill trying
Yeah,
to pass
exactly.
that was going to shut this down. And she was like, no. Look, this is why it's important.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not that, I mean, it's pretty rare that a Mormon will whip out a recording device and actually record something
Oh,
that their leaders are saying. But she knew that she was being treated like a cult member.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm not okay with this.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's these moments when that you kind of, I don't know. Growing up, I wasn't, of course, privy to the way that adults really get treated
Right.
in the church. And so it was just kind of just what it was, and you grew up with it. And I was always, for years, really hesitant to throw around the word cult about Mormonism.
Yeah, me too.
It just didn't feel right.
Well, it's so huge. It's too, like, by a lot of definitions, it is actually too big to be a cult.
True. But does it behave in cult-like manners? Yes.
Yeah.
It does. And this is one of the ways. This is one of the control mechanisms that they have. And it's effective, and it got in her head. She said that she was suicidal after this. She was really depressed.
Yeah.
It made dealing with her divorce that much more difficult. And subsequently, she has left the church. She's no longer an active member. I don't know if she's had her name removed or anything, but she has said that she does not want her temple recommend back.
Right.
I mean, she's out.
Keep it,
Yeah.
you dickheads.
Yeah, fuck you guys.
You know,
You don't have power over me anymore.
and this is
she
just-
probably feels so much better. It's probably such a weight
oh my God.
to know off her shoulders to not have to deal with this nonsense.
It's so funny
and
because
emotional abuse.
you see these people who are in the church, who are in a church.
Yeah.
And while they're in it, it just feels like leaving it would be the worst thing that could possibly happen. And
Right.
they can't wrap their head around it, and it feels awful. And then finally, they're pushed and they're pushed and they're pushed. And finally, they're like, fine, I can't. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm going to leave this church.
Yeah.
It's going to be the worst thing in the world, but I'm going to do it. And then they take literally half a step out the door, and they're like, holy shit, this is better. This is so much better. Like,
Remarkably better.
I'm still scared about a few things, but whoa.
Undeniably better.
I can breathe.
Yeah. And
I mean-
all that nonsense about coffee and alcohol,
Right.
totally nonsense.
And you can
And now you can wake up in the morning
it might take you a minute
without
to
having all this sugar in your with your caffeine,
Right. Yeah.
i.e. Coke.
Yeah. Diet Coke. It's all Diet Coke.
Okay, so you don't have to get all this saccharin
All,
with
all this aspartame.
whatever it is, right? And you can relax in the evening.
Oh, it's
You can
yeah.
know.
It's so much nicer. It's so much better.
and you don't have to go to church on fucking Sunday.
Right. And then there's no man who you don't even really know
Yeah,
in authority over all of these. It's
intruding into your life.
It's the
with
same
all
thing
these-
as this fucking story that Mark and I talked about last week with Paul, what's his name, the Trump aide,
Oh, yeah.
and his two
Mormon wives.
ex-Mormon ex-wives who were told by their bishops not to leave him and not to make him look bad,
Right.
because of his career. Well, fuck his career.
Fuck him.
Fuck that guy, and
Yeah.
fuck you, Bishop so-and-so,
Yeah.
for saying that.
He's not a righteous man.
Yeah.
He's not somebody who should be who should have a good career.
Right,
Who
but-
should have influence.
But
That is the last person you want. Get him the fuck out.
we just need to keep saying it. Religion is set up to protect the abuser.
Absolutely.
It is set up to protect the perpetrator and not the victim.
Yeah.
And the more we say it, the more, get out there and tell people that. When,
Yeah.
when they feel like confused about it, point out to them. Yeah, because your religion is not there to protect
protecting
you.
that
It's protecting the asshole.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, if you have...
Woo, Dan.
Yeah, I know.
Better.
That's
Get
someone...
out your
yeah,
handkerchief and,
nurse, dab me. If you have anything you'd like to add to this conversation, I'm sure you do, ladies and gentlemen. Get out there, get on your email machines and write to us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can always let us hear your voice. The
We love
telephone
it.
number is 424-666-8442.
Yes, please do that. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and see what Mackenzie's up to.
And also, while on Facebook, you can search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. Now, it's got rules,
Yep.
but that's what makes it great.
Yes,
Right?
indeed. And no one will know. You admit to nothing by joining that group.
Sure.
None of your Facebook friends will know that you're an atheist necessarily.
It doesn't even have our logo on it.
Nope.
Just
Just says
the name.
TGIA.
Yep.
Hey, speaking of Facebook, thanks so much to Mackenzie for all of her hard work on the Facebook page, and thanks to Sarah, Amy, and Danny for all of their work as moderators of the Members Only Lounge.
And, of course, thank you to the Red Rock Hot Club. Thanks go out to the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their music. And, of course, thanks to Gordon Johnston for the use of his music.
Yes, indeed. If you would like to join the family of patrons that helps makes this show possible and that receives ad-free and additional content, you can go to thankgodimatheist.com and click on that Patreon button.
And
And that's
so that's the show. Check us out on YouTube if you want to see what we look like while recording.
See my fun
YouTube.com/TGI
fancy shoes today. There they are.
And you can subscribe on YouTube as well.
Yeah,
Like,
please
that's
do
another
that.
way to
That helps
just
us out a
take
lot.
in the show if you want.
too.
All right.
So thanks everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.